A mental health crisis can impact anyone and often come without warning. There's a new center serving Northwest Iowa that can help by offering assistance and skill-building services. KTIV's Ellen Ide has the story from Spencer, Iowa.
People described Alex Jacobson as a natural jokester who loved to make people laugh. He also loved to be out on Lake Okoboji. But Jacobson also experienced a lifetime of mental illness and died by suicide in 2020. While his life ended too soon, his legacy lives on at Alex's Place, a new Crisis Stabilization Center in Spencer, Iowa.
His family really thought that a place like this would have changed that trajectory for him. And so we provide that warm, cozy environment that's not so sterile like a hospital would be.
The center will provide services to adults experiencing a mental health crisis that doesn't require an inpatient level of care.
We don't define the crisis, which is the beauty of it. So everybody that comes in is really going to have their plan tailored to their needs. We could have somebody that recently got divorced or is grieving and experiencing a recent loss, to somebody that is just having a little bit of unstabilization in their current diagnosis and the medications that they're working with.
The 4-bed facility offers short-term care for 3 to 5 days with around-the-clock care and supervision. A stay at Alex's Place will include 1 hour of therapy with a licensed mental health therapist and 1 hour of behavioral skill building each day. These are services that patients would normally have to drive hours to get. They're now much closer to home.
We work with 2 other facilities, and they are in Sac City and Sioux City. So that's quite a ways for folks to drive, especially in the winter months. And we wanted something that was in our own backyard here in Northwest Iowa.
The Crisis Center is also designed to feel like home while keeping mental health in mind. Visitors will be encouraged as well as social time with other residents, so they never feel alone. As stated on his memorial plaque, if we can learn anything from Alex, it's that mental health is real and it does not discriminate. Alex's Place is here to help. In Spencer, Iowa, Ellen Ide, KTIV News 4.
Alex's Place is expected to open this month. If you'd like to learn more about the services and the criteria, we've got it inside this story at ktiv.com.